killing all kinds of disturbing demons. Will you kindly note that just near this place, there is a big forest. Sorry. There is a big forest of the name Talavana. This forest is full of palm trees, and all trees are filled with fruits. Some have fallen down. Just near this place, there is a big forest. Sorry, I've got an echo.
No matter, it was my comment. It's gone now. It's gone now.
Okay. Some have fallen down, and some of them are very ripe, even in the trees. It is a very nice place, but because of a great demon, Dhenukāsura, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Dhenukāsura. Yeah, you're right.
Dhenukāsura, yeah. It is very difficult to go there. No one can reach the trees to collect the fruits. Dear Krishna and Balaram, this demon is present there, and in the form of an ass. He is surrounded by similar demon friends who have assumed the same shape. All of them are very strong, so it is very difficult to approach this place. Dear brothers, you are the only persons that can kill such demons. Other than you, no one can go there for fear of being killed. Not even animals go there, and no birds are living there. They have all left. One can only appreciate the sweet aroma that is coming from this place. It appears that until now, no one has tasted the sweet fruits there, either on the trees or on the ground. Dear Krishna, to tell you frankly, you are very attracted by this sweet aroma. Dear Balaram, if you like, let us all go there and enjoy these fruits. The aroma of the fruits is now spread everywhere. Don't you smell it from here? When Balaram and Krishna were thus petitioned by their intimate friends, they were inclined to please them, and with smiling faces, they proceeded towards the forest, surrounded by all their friends. Immediately upon entering the Talavana, Balaram began to yank the trees with his arms, exhibiting the strength of an elephant. Because of this jerking, all the ripe fruits fell down to the ground. Upon hearing the sound of the falling fruits, the demon Dhenukāsura, who was living there in the form of an ass, approached with great force, shaking the whole food so that all trees moved as if there was an earthquake. The demon appeared before Balaram and kicked his chest and his hind legs. At first, Balaram did not say anything, but with great anger, the demon kicked him again more vehemently. This time, Balaram immediately caught hold of the leg of the ass and one hand, and wheeling him around, threw him into the treetops. While he was being wheeled around by Balaram, the demon lost his life. Balaram threw the demon into the biggest palm tree about. The demon's body was so heavy that the palm tree fell upon other trees, and several trees fell down. It appeared as if a great hurricane was passing through the forest, and all the trees were falling down one after the other. This exhibition of extraordinary strength is not astonishing because Balaram is the personality of Godhead, known as Ananta Sese Naga, who is holding all the planets on the hoods of his millions of heads. He maintains the whole cosmic manifestation exactly as horizontal and vertical threads hold the weaving of a cloth. After the demon had been thrown into the trees, all the friends and associates of Dhenukāsura immediately assembled and attacked Balaram and Krishna with great force. They were determined to retaliate and avenge the death of their friend, but Krishna and Balaram caught each of the asses by the hind legs and exactly the same way wheeled them round. Thus they killed all of them and threw them into the palm trees. Because the dead bodies of the asses, there was a panoramic scene. It appeared as if clouds of various colours were assembled in the trees. Hearing the great incident, the demigods from the higher planets showered flowers on Krishna and Balaram and beat their drums and offered devotional prayers. A few days after the killing of Dhenukāsura, people began to come into Talavana forest to collect the fruit, and the animals began to return without fear to feed on the nice grasses growing there. Just by chanting or hearing these transcendental activities and pastimes of the brothers Krishna and Balarama, one can amass pious activities. When Krishna and Balarama entered the village of Vrindavana, along with their friends, they played their flutes and the boys praised their uncommon activities in the forest. Their faces were decorated with tilaka and smeared with the dust raised by the cows, and Krishna's head was decorated with a peacock feather. Both him and Balaram played their flutes, and the young gopis were joyous to see Krishna returning home. All the gopis in Vrindavana remained very morose on the account of Krishna's absence. All day they were thinking of Krishna in the forest and of him herding the cows in the pasture. When they saw Krishna returning, all activities were immediately relieved, and they began to look at his face the way drones hover over the honey of a lotus flower. When Krishna entered the village with the young gopis smiled and laughed. Krishna, playing his flute, enjoyed beautiful smiling faces of the gopis. Then Krishna and Balaram were immediately received by their affectionate mothers, Yashoda and Rahini, who, according to the time's demands, began to fulfill the desires of their affectionate sons. Simultaneously, the mothers rendered service and bestowed benediction upon their transcendental sons. They took care of their children by bathing them and dressing them very nicely. Krishna was dressed in yellowish garments and Balaram was dressed in bluish garments, and they were given all sorts of ornaments and flower garlands. Being relieved of the fatigue of the day's work and pasturing ground, they looked refreshed and very beautiful. They were given palatable dishes by their mothers and pleasantly ate everything. After eating, they were seated nicely on clean bedding, and their mother began to sing various songs of their activities. As soon as they lay down on the bedding, they very quickly fell asleep. And in this way, Krishna and Balaram used to enjoy Vrindavan life as cowherd boys. Sometimes Krishna used to go to his boyfriends and Balaram, and sometimes he used to go alone with his friends to the bank of Yamuna and tend the cows. Gradually, the summer season arrived, and one day, while in the field, the boys and the cows became very thirsty and began to drink the water of Yamuna. The river, however, had been made poisonous by the venom of the great serpent known as Kilaya. Because the water was so poisonous, and the boys and cows became visibly affected immediately after drinking, they suddenly fell down on the ground, apparently dead. Then Krishna, who is the life of all that lives, simply cast his merciful glance over them, and all boys and cows regained consciousness and began to look at one another with great astonishment. They could understand that by drinking the water of Yamuna they had died, and then the merciful glance of Krishna had restored their lives. Thus they appreciated the mystic power of Krishna, who is known as Yogasavara, the master of all mystic yogis. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 15th chapter of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother. Thank you so much. So today we just heard about the pastimes of Krishna and Balram killing Dhenukāsura and his associates. So, getting from the story, from last week, Krishna and Balram and all their coward boyfriends, were having wonderful time in Vrindavan. They were really enjoying. They're playing wonderful so many games, and at the same time, the cows were happy. They were in their pasturing grounds. And everybody was happy. And so here in the description, we hear that the coward friends of Krishna, they are petitioning to Krishna that Krishna, we smell a very fragrant smell of tala fruit. It's a very special kind of fruit. It grows on the palm tree, so palm fruit. So it is a very aromatic fragrance is coming, but you're not able to go there. We can't enjoy these fruits. Why? Because there is a demon called Dhenukāsura. He is occupying that land. And anybody who goes there, he just kills them. He is a very vicious demon. So Krishna and Balram, they agreed that yes, if this is what your desire is, let's go, and sort out the problem. We can have these nice fruits, so let's sort out the demon first, and we can have the fruit. So here, the one thing that we can learn is that, see, devotees of devotion or in devotional life, we are not desireless. We all have different taste. So here, the coward friends of Krishna, they said, yes, we have this desire to have this nice palm fruit, and they approach Krishna for it. And Krishna is also so merciful. He said, yes, if my devotee wants this, and if it is not harming his devotional life, then I will provide it. So Krishna consciousness is not a very dry, very colorless, there is no enjoyment. Actually, devotional life is full of enjoyment. In fact, the only enjoyment is there in devotional life only. At the outside, there is no enjoyment. Only in devotional life there is some enjoyment. And as it is said, the variety is the mother of enjoyment. Without enjoyment, without variety, there is no enjoyment. And everybody is unique. All devotees, they have their own taste, they have their own likings. But the mood is that all their desires are there ultimately to satisfy Krishna. All devotees are unique. And Krishna, he respects everyone. Everybody's personality, their taste, and he reciprocates with them accordingly. And everybody is unique, and because everybody is unique, everybody is there's so much variety of personalities and taste. The whole the spiritual gathering, or spiritual enjoyment is ever expanding. If there is no variety, even in this material world, if there is no variety, the things becomes very very dry. One of my friends used to give this example. We have this wonderful instrument called piano, and each key has a different tone or different note. Not a single key has a same tune, same note. But can you imagine, if all the keys plays the same note, we can enjoy the piano? No, we cannot enjoy the piano. You just a ting ting, just same note. There is no variety. But because everybody, his all the notes are different, and when the expert pianist, when it comes and it plays, in that piano, and it's so harmonious, it's so pleasing to the heart. Similarly, all the devotees, with their own personalities, with their own taste, when we all come together to serve Krishna, the life becomes full of festival. Life becomes just an enjoyment, an unending, party. where Krishna is in center and everybody is serving Krishna. So here the coward boy says, Krishna, if you see the description earlier, they were having wonderful time. They were having, garlands, and they're eating so many nice fruit and, so many nice food. Earlier with the chapter we said, the mothers used to pack them, the lunches. They used to have their own different lunches together. They're having wonderful time. But here this is Krishna. We want to enjoy this tala fruit or palm fruit. Can you please get us, get us? And Krishna said, yes, why not? Krishna did not say, oh, sorry, ask me anything else, but, this demon is there, trouble, I don't want to go and, make any trouble, we can eat some other fruit. Krishna says, no, if my devotee wants this fruit, I will get him. That there is, if they have a desire, I will certainly fulfill. So Krishna fulfills all the desires of his devotee, if it is not harming their spiritual life. So we are also, in our own way, we are, seeing significant devotees of Krishna, and we might also have sometimes desires. Krishna, I want this particular kind of dress, or I want, this particular kind of, gadget or something in our life. Those desires are there, but we have to dovetail all these desires in the service of Krishna. If we can do that, then Krishna will just provide. He'll fulfill your desires. Just the earlier, I was reading a particular section in Srimad Bhagavatam. The stories of prachetas are mentioned. So, in that story, the prachetas, they did the austerity for 10,000 years under the water. So they sat inside a lake, and then for 10,000 years they just sat down and then they chanted a particular mantra given by Lord Shiva, and for 10,000 years they just meditated on Krishna. And finally Krishna came, and then Krishna, he said, I'm so happy with your devotional service. So I want to give you benediction. So Prachetas said, my dear Lord, we do not have any desire. Our desire is that we only have the association of your devotees. We do not have any other desires. And Krishna, he was so happy with them. So Krishna, he granted them a benediction that you remain in this world and enjoy the pleasures of this world for 1 million years. You will have a very nice, strong body, and you will have all the facilities. And I give a special benediction that even while enjoying these material pleasures of this world, you will still remain a devotee. And at the end of 1 million years, you will come back to me, back home, back to Godhead. So here Krishna, we can see that they did not approach for Krishna, prachetas did not approach Krishna for the material enjoyment. But Krishna, sometimes even without asking, he provides all the facilities. So here the boys, they wanted to enjoy these fruits. Krishna says, no problem, I'll do it for you. And then, another story comes in my mind. There's another story, it will come sometimes later in the Krishna book, that once Krishna had to kill a demon called Bhaumasur, and he had done, he had stolen the earrings of the mother of King of Heaven, Indra. So Krishna went back to give those earrings back to Indra's mother. So at that time, Krishna took Mother Satyabhama, one of his queen. Krishna's one of the queen. Krishna has 8 principal queens. One of the principal queen is Satyabhama. So Krishna took Satyabhama with him to Sargaloka. And while coming back, Krishna, Mother Satyabhama, she saw a nice tree called Parijata, growing in the heavenly planets. And Mother Satyabhama said, Krishna, this tree will be very wonderful in my palace in Dwarka. And Krishna said, oh, this is your desire? No problem. I will have you this tree, in your palace in Dwarka. So this tree actually it can only grow in heavenly planet. It cannot grow in on the earth. But no, Krishna he took the tree and brought it into Dwarka. And for that, Indra was quite angry. He says, how can you do this? So Krishna and actually fought with Indra. But the point that we want to make is that Krishna, he will do anything for the pleasure of his devotee. He is a Bhakta Vatsal. Anything that his devotee wants, he gives it. The only best thing in our control that we can do is that simply remain surrendered and faithful, and most importantly, always have service to Krishna and his devotees in our heart. If in our heart, the service to Krishna and his devotee is in the center as a core in our heart, then Krishna just becomes so pleased with his devotee. And whatever the devotee requires, material, spiritual, physical, financial, whatever, Krishna simply provides that. Actually, in that mode of surrender to Krishna, the law of karma or law of action and reaction does not work. Sometimes, people they go to astrologers, especially from Indian background devotees from that culture. They go to the astrologer and says, what is, if I want certain benefit, what can I do? Or I'm having some problem. What is the, what is the problem? What is the root cause? And they say, because you did something, that's why, these things are there. So, there are, for that one, you do particular remedy. But in the case of a devotee, this law of karma, action and reaction does not work. Devotee is beyond the jurisdiction of law of karma. Krishna sometimes uses the law of karma, just to teach some nice lessons to the devotee. But essentially, the law of karma does not work on the devotee. That does not mean that we are beyond the rules and regulations of the material world. We have to follow them. But it is a Krishna, as and when it is requires, he will go beyond this law of karma and provide the things to his devotees, or take away the things which is troubling to the devotee. So here the boys requested Krishna, please get us this fruit, and Krishna obliged. In fact, not Krishna, Balram obliged. He said, yes, let's go there. So the Balram and Krishna went there, and then Balram, here it is described, he shook the tree. Now Balram is Balaram. All the strength, both physical and spiritual, it comes from Lord Balram. He just shook the trees and all the fruit started falling, and the whole earth was shaking. And seeing this, this demon, he said, who dares coming into my, my place and disturbing me? So he appears on the scene, and he sees that Balram, he is shaking the tree, and he has caused these tribulations. So he, being a body of a donkey, donkey is a way of retaliating or attacking is with their hind legs. So that Dhenukāsura, he charged at Balram, and he stopped, and then he kicked on chest of Balaram with his hind legs. And then Balaram did not mind, but then again, he again repeated that. And that time, Balaram, while he was hitting, from his hind legs, Dhenukāsura, he got hold of his 2 feet. And, he swirled the demon, like this. He swirled the demon in the air, and then he was just round and round and round. And this demon, G-force, gravitational G-force, in in the fighter jets and all. A human body or any materialistic body of this earth, we cannot tolerate the movement certain beyond certain g level. So he lost his life. And then Krishna, he threw his body, sorry, Balram, he threw his body, on top of the palm trees. And then he lay dead, on the palm trees. Now seeing this, these Dhenukāsura's associates says, our leader is dead, and this Balram, he killed him. So they were very angry, and they charged to Balram. And that time many donkeys, they charged towards Krishna and Balram. And Krishna and Balram, just a plaything, just casually, they got hold of each donkey's hind legs, and gave them the same treatment. Just swirled and swirled and swirled, and then one side, Krishna threw one demon, the other side, Balram threw the demon, and then all the demons were swirled, and then Krishna and Balram threw them on top of the trees. And here it is described that there were so many donkeys like these, lying dead on the top of the palm trees. It looked like, because every donkey had different colors. So like, various color clouds are there in the sky. So this is how the donkeys were, killed, and Krishna and Balram relieved the disturbance of Brajvasis. And then, it is mentioned that they started going to the place and, herding their cows, their nice grass, and, the Brajvasis were happy. So this is how this demon was killed. Now, this story seems a very regular story for Krishna. Krishna appears, there is some disturbance, and then Krishna in his own unique way, he kills the demon. Then everybody has a nice time, like in a fairy tale. This is they lived ever after. But in each story, each pastimes that Krishna performs in this material world, it has got a deep meaning. So each demon, that ever came or killed by Krishna or Balram, they present a particular anartha in our heart. Anarthas are the impurities in our heart. So Krishna and Balram comes and they kills the demon. So similarly in our life, we have so many anarthas, impurities, which is stopping us to serve Krishna and his devotees. So we have to pray to Krishna. Krishna, please come and kill this demon. So Krishna, because these demons, they are so powerful, it is not in our control, it is not in our strength to kill them. We need the mercy of Krishna. So Dhenukāsura, he represents a impurity called the gross materialistic intelligence and the disregard for the spiritual intelligence. I repeat. Let me see what have I write down here, there somewhere. I'm sure it is the correct one. Yeah, the gross materialistic intelligence and ignorance of spiritual knowledge. So the Dhenukāsura, now Dhenukāsura is a donkey, and he represents gross materialistic intelligence and the ignorance of spiritual knowledge. What does it mean? Gross materialistic intelligence. So in this world, there are so many people, they get educated into this beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, faculties of various faculties of knowledge in this world. There is medicine, there is astronomy, there is a business studies, philosophies. So many various branches of knowledges are there. And once we have this materialistic knowledge, acquisition of this knowledge, people become proud. have achieved certain knowledge, and they start ignoring this superior power, who is actually, they start ignoring the source of this knowledge, that where is this knowledge coming from. They think this knowledge, it's on its own, it is just the power. So gross materialistic knowledge. So if you see in this world, those who are very highly qualified, and they have a lots of access to the knowledge, they acquired a knowledge, they have mastery over particular kind of knowledge. It is a gross materialistic intelligence, and if they are not careful, it also gives rise to the ignorance to the spiritual knowledge. They do not care where is the source of this knowledge or how these things have come about. And in that ignorance, they start deriding the authority of the God, they start deriding the control and power of the Lord. So this particular mentality in our human society, where people are proud of their materialistic intelligence and sheer disregard of the spiritual knowledge, that is represented by Dhenukasur. Dhenukasur is a donkey. So in the eyes of the Shastra or the scripture, anybody who is proud of his materialistic knowledge and they're ignorant of the spiritual knowledge, they're considered simply an ass, a donkey. A donkey, whenever we want to say somebody is fool, we say he's a donkey. He is a brain like a donkey. Why? Because donkey, they work very hard uh, for the benefit of nothing. Uh, there is a saying, that a carrot in front of a donkey. So if you want to have a nice ride, or the donkey, then you sit on the donkey and then you hold a stick at the end, put a carrot. A donkey thinks, that if I just walk 2 steps forward, I'll able to eat the carrot. Because we are riding on the donkey, the carrot moves along with as donkey moves, the carrot also moves. So donkey is thinking, if I just, take 2 steps, I'll be able to take down the carrot. And 2 steps, 2 steps. So he thinks he's very intelligent. I can see it is close by, and I'll get it. But donkey never gets it. Uh, so similarly, in our society, those who are of that Dhenukasur mentality, donkey mentality, they work hard and hard and hard for nothing. The actual benefit to the society is nothing. Rather, they become proud of their knowledge, and then they disregard uh, the the authority of the Lord. They have no interest in the spiritual life. And why here these kind of people that compare to the donkey? Because though they think that they are intelligent, but they are actually not intelligent. If you are really intelligent, now hear this very carefully. If those scientists or those doctors or PhDs, if they're really intelligent, then they will naturally become the devotee of the Lord. And you've seen in the past, in the history, there are a number of scientists and doctors and philosophers. They become the devotees of the Lord because once they, after acquiring all that knowledge, they see how things work, and then they're convinced, that this knowledge or this particular arrangement in this world, this is beyond the simple cause and effect. There is some higher design behind this, there's a higher control behind this, there's a higher power behind this, and they have no trouble whatsoever in concluding that actually this knowledge, it comes from the superior authority, and they simply become the devotee of the Lord. You can see, Isaac Newton, he was a he was very much spiritual person. The great modern day scientist Albert Einstein, he was a student of Bhagavad Gita. Mm. And you see so many places, those who are really intelligent, those not at that Dhenukasur mind. they actually become devotee of the Lord. Especially, uh, the doctors, when somebody, is in very serious condition, and then the family are there, and the doctor says, I've done my best. Now please pray to the Lord. The doctor, those who are not proud of their Dhenukasur mentality says, this body is just a machine. I've tried to, give whatever this machine requires and whatever treatment is required, but ultimately this body or this arrangement, it is controlled by the Supreme Lord. So those who are actually intelligent, those who are not of Dhenukasur mentality, they've actually become devotee of the Lord. But those who are really, of the Dhenukasur mentality, they are just puffed up, proud of their materialistic, gross materialistic knowledge, and then they ignore the authority of the Lord. So this kind of demon, uh, uh, they are killed by Krishna and Balaram. So here this demon was killed by Balaram. Now Balaram, he represents Guru Tattva. He is actually the original Guru. So unless Guru comes into our life and gives us this spiritual knowledge, and gives us the entry, or gives us this knowledge, that actual real knowledge is about the knowledge of the soul and the super soul and our relationship with the super soul. Unless Guru gives that knowledge, will be just like this Dhenukasur, will be proud of our materialistic knowledge. So this knowledge is only given by the Guru. The knowledge of Krishna and his devotees and how to serve to Krishna, it is given by Guru. Krishna is, of course, very merciful, but because we have uh, rejected Krishna, and we are here in this material world rotting, and Krishna says, okay, if this is where you want to sleep, um, I'll provide you everything to become happy in this world, but still, we suffer in this world. So Krishna, because we have rejected Krishna, out of his own causeless mercy, he sends Guru into our life. Guru is nothing but the expansion of Krishna. Balaram is expansion of Krishna. The Guru comes, and then Guru, he gives this spiritual knowledge. So before every class, we recite one prayers. Om Agyan Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. A real intelligent person, he first of all gives the credit, all credit to his Guru first. Even before Krishna. First he gives respect and praise to the Guru, and then he goes to Krishna. So in these prayers, the devotee is praying to the Lord. He said, my dear Lord, I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, by the torchlight of the knowledge, he opened my eyes, and I can see things as they are. So it says the ointment of the spiritual knowledge, through which, he is anointed my eyes with that spiritual knowledge, and now my eyes are open, and now I can see things as they are. So this is spiritual knowledge. It comes by Guru. Unless we have Guru in our life, we have no we have no hope in this world. And in our own personal lives, we see, we are holding this Krishna book, we are having Bhagavatam classes, Bhagavad Gita. What are these books? Unless Prabhupada, did not give us these books, can you imagine what would have been our condition? Prabhupada, through his books, through his personal instructions and guidance, given in these books, would have been just like, one of the small Dhenukasur in this world. Because of that book, We know who we are, who is Krishna, what is the relationship with Krishna. So Prabhupada has opened our eyes now. And now it is our duty to not live in ignorance anymore, but rather get engaged in the service of Krishna. So then, as we go in the Krishna book, there are many demons. They are mostly killed by Krishna, but there are particular demons which are killed by Balaram. And each those and there are particular qualities they can only be sorted in our um, in the devotee's life by the mercy of Guru, by the mercy of Balaram. So this is that one of that demon, first demon in fact, Dhenukāsura, uh, the tendency of the gross material intelligence and sheer ignorance of the spiritual knowledge. That is only be killed, that is only be removed by the mercy of Guru, by the mercy of Balaram. So actually in our devotee's life, this is a very instructive story, that what is the position of Guru in our life. Without Guru, we have actually no hope. And if you see in the morning, the devotees, the Mangalarti, right at 4:30 in the morning, the devotee goes in front of Krishna. The the song that they sing, actually it is in glorification of Guru, not Krishna. That the Guru is so great because of the Guru, because of the Guru's mercy, they're able to see this beautiful form of Krishna in the Mangalarti. So Guru is without Guru, devotee's life does not have any hope or existence. So this is the importance of Guru or Balram in our life. And once this demon was killed, there's a description. I'll spend some time on on this topic. That the children's Krishna's cowherd friends and all the cows, they return to Vrindavan, and there's a great celebration as Krishna enters into Vrindavan, uh, because the gopis, they were in anxiety throughout the day because they are simply happy seeing Krishna. And when Krishna goes to the pastures, they are not able to see Krishna. So now Krishna is returned, so they are very happy. And in Vrindavan, this particular time when in the evening, when all the cows return, they call it Go Dhuli. Go means cow and Dhuli means dust. So there are so many cows, coming in Vrindavan, and because of their, their hoofs, and then they're walking and they're running. There's so much dust, gathers in the sky. So it is called Godhuli. And these dust, they are considered very, 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 very extremely auspicious. The dust from the hoofs of the cows, they're very auspicious. So you see there's a description, that the body is smeared with the dust from the cow's hoofs. And then they come back home, and then Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini, they they're very happy that Krishna is back. See, Krishna at this time only 6-year old, just entered the Poganda Lila. And then they give them, nice bath. They are very tired. They give them, nice, wonderful prasad. And then, Krishna and then Balram, they go to the sleep and they sing nice songs for Krishna. And this is how, the Braj life goes on. Krishna, the God, he never gets tired. But just to reciprocate with the with the love of his devotee, he gets tired. Yeah, the God never becomes hungry. You know, but just to accept the devotee service, he's very hungry. So for his devotee's pleasure, Krishna will do anything. Anything means anything. And that's how the Vrindavan description is there. And at the end of the chapter, there's just a little prelude to what is coming next. The subduing of Kalia. There's another serpent, very ferocious serpent called Kalia. He was in one of these lake in Vrindavan, and because of his snake, the water was very poisonous, and some of the Devadasis they drank that poisonous water, and they lost their life, and Krishna brought them back to life. And how Krishna restores the again, the disturbance created by Kaliya, that is subject matter of the next chapter, the subduing of Kaliya. Again, this chapter of Kaliya is one of the very 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 instructive chapter, especially all the ladies will go through the chapter, in a very nice way. That how the role of ladies, the Kaliya's wives, in the in saving of Kaliya's, horrible condition. I request all of you, please give a wonderful attention to this chapter, subduing of Kaliya. Also, Kaliya's, his own, how he was rescued, and Krishna does not kill Kaliya, but how he subdues his mentality. So that is the topic of the next chapter. So that will carry on the next week. So stop here. I will, if anybody has any questions, we can do question and answer. I'll stop our